Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Cities Skylines. Welcome back to Nerdköping. Hope you're having a good one. There have been some changes since the last episode, and by there have been some changes, I mean there have been a considerable number of changes since the last episode because I got bored. And I did try to record those changes, but I got 35 minutes into a recording, which is more or less an episode, and I thought to myself, this is boring. I thought to myself, this is boring, this is dull, this is not a good episode, I don't want to put this out, I'm just going to continue building what I'm building, and then I'll talk about it in an episode. So that's what we're doing now, that's how that works. Just so we're clear. So, what have I done? Well, what I've done is I've gone ahead ever so slightly and completely changed this area. But before we get to that, I just want to mention that in the last episode, I did ask for name suggestions, and Grunstad was the best one. Now, my pronunciation of that is all over the place. I went to Google Translate, and I was told in one of the top comments on that previous episode that Grunstad was Swedish for Green City. If you go to Google Translate and say translate English to Swedish and say green and then put a space and city, you get Grunstad as 2 words. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think that's a brilliant, brilliant name. So we have Grunstad West, we have Grunstad East, and Upper Grunstad we have the Industrial Park, and this area hasn't been named. Now, before we get to all of this, I have made some changes to, obviously, this space. This didn't exist previously, but it does now. This was just something I wanted to do to fill up the space. To be totally honest, this is just, it's literally that. It's just to fill up that space. It's just commercial zoning. It's just to make the space look kind of interesting and make it a little bit dense and, you know, have something next to all this industry. So that's what that is. Now, the bulk of what has changed is obviously the abundance of tall buildings and the lack of anything else in this area. Now, the reason for that is that I did build up quite a bit of this space, and I had a bit of fun doing that. I did enjoy doing that, but this area just didn't have a skyline, and that really bugged me. And I know that sounds silly, but genuinely, it really bugged me that I would be looking from here, you know, across the water, and it wouldn't have a skyline, but now it kind of does. I mean, obviously it doesn't have anything else, but now it sort of has a skyline. So what I want to do today is I want to come into this area and I want to just sort of finish it a little bit. So what I mean by that is I'm going to come in here. I'm going to take out all of this this zoning here. Obviously, a lot of this space was supposed to be, and the name Green City sort of falls apart now that we don't have as much of the self-sufficient housing as we once had. But I do still want to have some self-sufficient housing in this this space. We're going to have it in that corner. We're going to have it over here. But this area is going to be a lot more, I guess, tourist-oriented. I guess it's going to be a little more, you know, in the vein of let's make this area. I guess it's our version of kind of a Canary Wharf type area in somewhere like London. Sort of. I don't want to say it's exactly that, but it's kind of, you know, it's supposed to be quite fancy. It's supposed to be quite wealthy. It's supposed to be, you know, very tall buildings. And I mean, I've been in the Canary Wharf area of London. I've stayed in a hotel. I will have you know, I've stayed in a hotel in the Canary Wharf area of London. I didn't pay for it. It was an event. That makes it sound even more pretentious. It sounded pretty pretentious to begin with. Look. I don't remember what the event was, but the event was like, hey, would you like to come to the event? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, you know, we'll send you hotel details in a little bit. And I'm like, okay, well, I've stayed in London before, so the hotel is probably going to be kind of crap. And then I look at the details of the hotel I'm staying in, and I look at it, I'm like, wait a minute, this hotel's in Canary Wharf? And I was pretty happy with that, I gotta be honest. I was quite pleased with that discovery. Not like in actual Canary Wharf, but it was in the financial district. I don't know what Canary Wharf even is. It was there. It was in that fancy area of London. All right, that kind of more modern area of London. The one where the new underground rail stations had opened fairly recently at the time. The one where one of the tube stations was in Star Wars Rogue One. I was one of those. I was there. It was really cool. I was walking through this station. I'm like, this is really familiar. And then I realized it was in Star Wars. I was in Star Wars. Anyway, that's a completely sidetracked. What I want to do today is I want to fill up all this space. Now, you will notice there's not zoning on certain roads. I finally got a mod that lets me turn off zoning on roads. So I've been doing a lot of that. I've been turning off zoning where I just don't want it. And it's going fantastically. Now, like I said, I want to make this area look kind of fancy, and I've started by putting in some parking lots here. And I want to be very particular with my buildings. And part of what I'm going to do that is I'm going to use content creator, the content creator packs tab here, because it has a lot of these little buildings. It has small office buildings. So what I can do is put a small office building there. And then obviously it's I mean, it's absolutely tiny next to that thing, but it fills up the space. It kind of gives a purpose to the area, and I'm okay with that. So what I'm going to do across the street from that is I'm going to put in a city office building, and it kind of fills up that corner really nicely and, you know, doesn't take away from the skyscraper right next to it. Although I would be tempted to say that maybe that should be some kind of park or plaza, so maybe this thing could go here instead, which is still a relatively nice area for it. Although maybe it could go maybe over there instead, so maybe right about there. Yeah, I like that. I like that spot for it. That's pretty good. So we'll do there for that building. And then I want things like the district office building, and it can go here. So it's going to go kind of next to that. And it's not a huge building. It's maybe a little unique for the area, but whatever. We could probably duplicate it and make something interesting out of it, which I might very well do. We shall see. We have the local register office, which can go right next to that guy. And I think that's kind of cool. If anything, we could probably merge those two together into one building. Which, maybe we will do that. Let's give it a shot and see what happens if I just do this. Just sort of shuffle you along a little. Sort of shuffle you along a little bit further to there. Does that look okay? I mean, I kind of feel like it does. It doesn't look terrible at the back. I mean, I'm never really going to look at it from that side anyway, so I think that's fine. I think having those two kind of connected together is all right. Does it take away from my skyline view from here doesn't matter too much. My main worry is here. And I think that's okay. I think that building there is fine. So let's see. What else have we got to play with? We have this, which is a resort hotel, which I absolutely adore, but I don't think it really belongs in any of this space. So we're not going to be doing that. We have a downtown hotel, which I absolutely do think could belong in some of this space. Somewhere like right there for a little downtown hotel is not a terrible spot. You know, right next to a giant skyscraper, we have this tiny little hotel, and I think that's kind of cool. We've also got a couple of sort of unique office building types. They're decent looking buildings, I gotta say, and they would certainly fit in some of these spaces. I'm not really too sure that I'm going to use any of them. I think my skyline is about done. Maybe this guy could go in here. Does that look okay? Yeah, that's fine. It's not enormous. Maybe just move it to there, so it's kind of next to that guy. Yeah, that's fine. So that building can live there. And maybe I can get one of these guys in somewhere over there. I just don't know. Someone like here could use a tower. Someone like here, maybe. I'm not going to overdo it with the towers. I'm not going to do it. Let's just get these guys in, because these are shopping centers. So this is the station department store, and this is the rail yard shopping center. And I think these will be kind of cool buildings to have. So let's do this guy maybe in here for something like this, or maybe down here. I should explain what this area is in a minute as well. We will absolutely do that. Yeah, I reckon, what are these again? So that's the shopping center, that's the department store. I mean, they could kind of fit over here as well. It could go there, for example, which is kind of okay. It's got an interesting back to it. I'm not really sure if that's, I think that's windows. I'm pretty sure those are windows. It might be windows. Whatever they are, I think that's probably an okay spot for it. Because we have this view of it. We've got, you know, offices and then a shopping center or department store. And for the other one, which is the actual shopping center, I mean, it could go back there or over here. And I kind of feel like over here might be the spot for it. So something like that, perhaps. Which, I'm not 100% sure about that spot. What about actually putting it over here? I'd need to turn zoning back on this road to do that, but that's easy enough to do. So zoning there, grab you, and it could live right about there. And I mean, if anything, I could move it for sure, but I do want to move these nodes real quick. So you're going to go to that height, and then that's going to be a little slope that just kind of goes around that corner there. So that'll be okay. And yeah, this guy, we can just move into that corner there. Although I don't, oh, that's just an overhang. Yeah, that's fine. I thought we had some weirdness going on, but we don't. You can go to that height and just move it right into that corner, right about there. Just make sure it's nice and level, which it absolutely is. And I think that's okay. I think that's a pretty good layout. And again, this gives us a skyline, and that's what I wanted. And it's weird. I will say it's kind of weird having the skyline over there, because I was planning on this being my main skyline over here. You know, the whole idea was that you would look behind the old clock tower and you would see, you know, transport tower, the gherkin, you'd see all that nonsense. But this area, I guess, is just a much more modern development. So we're doing this. We're committing to it. We're doing whatever weirdness this ends up being. And wow, speaking of weirdness, that right there could, if it didn't have those props, and I know I could take them off, but that could be a thing. It's not going to be a thing, but it certainly could be. Now, what I reckon I want to do is I want to set Grunstad East to have the modern city center theme. And I want to set West already has it. Because what I'm thinking we do here is we take out these sections of road real quick and we go in and obviously, you know, put it back in there. I do have collisions turned off, so this will be fine. That gives us a nice little bit of zoning there. I want to go ahead and I want to do a bit of commercial zoning there. And I want to do some commercial zoning there. Because what that'll do is it'll give us those modern city center type buildings. And I want to do the same here. And I want to do the same here. And again, it'll give us those modern city center type buildings. I'm going to do the same in this space. And I'm going to do the same in this space as well. And I'm leaving those gaps very intentionally there. I'm going to do the same. Do I have any decent sized parking lots? Do I have any 4x4 parking lots? I don't think I do. I have these guys, which I don't really use all that often, but I guess we'll use them now. So those can live there. I'm going to need to detail them, but that's okay. And we'll do something like this. We'll bring a little bit of zoning kind of up to there. And again, those will be, you know, modern city center type buildings. So that's fine, I guess. In here, I think we could do a few as well. And I guess back here, we could probably do some. And I guess technically this road could use them as well. So we'll do that. And that'll give us, you know, some nice modern city center buildings. I need to stop saying the words modern city center, don't I? It's getting weird. But maybe just bring these back a little bit. Something like that. And that'll give us some actual zoning in this area. So we'll hit play and we'll let the game kind of tick over and do its thing. And I'm just going to go around and do this. I'm just going to put some parking lots into not there. That was not supposed to be there. I want to put parking lots in just around all of these different spaces. So in there and there. And this one can be this guy. Just so that there is plenty of space for people to park around here. That's obviously going to be kind of important. We should also probably put a multi-story parking lot in here somewhere. But before we do that, I want to explain what this area is, because we just have some cool different buildings around here. Obviously, Expo Center right there. We have a couple of bus stops in front of it, which I thought was going to be fairly important. And thinking about it, we need to go to these junctions and make sure people can actually cross that road. So we'll kind of let them do that, so that they can go ahead and do their thing. And in terms of junction restrictions, I don't have anything set up there. Let's just go ahead and make sure these are set up that way. These can be set up that way. This needs to be set up correctly. You need to be set up correctly, and so do you, and so do you. So those are all set up. We have a few buildings coming up, which is beautiful. And we've got these guys building. So I think this is going to look kind of cool. Basically, this is something that I don't know why this is important to me, but for God's sake, the game's called Cities Skylines, and my entire skyline over here was just a line. It was a sky line. It was very boring to look at, basically. So this is my way of kind of fixing that a little bit. But my whole idea with this space here is that we're kind of, again, lines. We're drawing a line very literally with this road and with this path. And the whole idea is I want this space to be very much focused on entertainment. So we have, I say entertainment, but it's kind of the more, I don't want to say touristy. I don't know what it would necessarily be, but it has a shopping center. It has an expo center. It has the London Eye. It has this, which is apparently a cinema on the bottom with condos at the top. So it's basically or it might just be cinema condo, whatever. I'm going to argue that it's a cinema on the bottom with condos on the top. Either way, it's interesting looking. And that's what I want this area to be. Interesting looking. So I think at this point, what I really need to do is detail some of the areas that are going to be left more open than everywhere else. So around the high interest tower here, I do want this to actually be some kind of park. And by some kind of park, I mean it's just going to be an area that has fences around it. So let's bring a path down to there. Let's bring a path down to there. Let's bring a path to there. And let's bring a path to there. And what we can actually do with this, and I'm thinking I am going to do this, is I'm actually going to put a park entrance, well, I guess down here. So right there. And we'll go ahead and we'll paint in a park for this space. So it's just going to go around this entire block, which might be slightly tricky given the other park that's already across the street, but we'll do this. And then I need to paint a park into this space as well. This is just going to be, that's a mess. That is a mess to look at, but I think we'll be okay. So we have our main entrance down here. We're going to want another entrance / exit right there. I want one there, and I want one there. And I don't know which park that's necessarily going to service or serve, but it doesn't really matter. It's not really the end of the world if it's the wrong one. And I'll tell you what, I think we are going to use these paths right here. Just because I think those red ones are maybe a little too weird for this kind of area. So we'll do that. And we'll do, let's see, can I get a snap point there? I totally can. So let's have that, and that. And it's a little weird the way it kind of goes around the road there. I can maybe make it a little less weird. I think. I mean, I think it's gonna be regardless. I think that's a little bit less weird. I can paint some concrete into some of those spaces there if I really want to. It is strange that the trees are on concrete over here, but that's fine. And I think that'll be okay. I think, oh, you know what? That looks actually a little weird there. That looks like it's going uphill. Is it just me seeing that? I guess it's an optical illusion. But it looks like it's going uphill rather than what it's actually doing, which is curving that. Oh. Is it just me that's... It might be one of those things that, like, when you see it, you get it. But if you're not seeing what I'm talking about, you're going to be wondering what the hell I'm talking about. This path looks like it's going uphill to me. From, like, this angle. But it's not. It's completely flat. Oh, that's just... Yeah, let's stop looking at that. If you're not seeing it, you're going to be wondering what the hell I'm talking about. But, yeah, if you do see it, then, you know, comments down below. I'm curious to see if it's just me. And if it's just me, then we might have a problem. There might be some other issue there that I might need to worry about. But, I will cross that bridge when I come to it. Now, I think this looks okay. I think this is a decent look, is what this is. We could do that kind of thing. We could do this, actually, thinking about it, which I think I will actually do. So we can just get a nice curve on there and a nice curve on there. And I think that's all right. I think that's kind of a good look. Gives us kind of a nice area around this thing. It makes it look a little more built up. That curve is really bugging me, though. I'll be honest, that curve is really, really bugging me. Oh, man. I don't know if that's a good look or not. Let's fill up some of that space with some paving to see if we can, you know, make it look a little more official. So something a bit like that. I don't think we need any on this side. I mean, we could do a bit in here. I don't think we're going to. I think I might do some nice trees in there or something, but we'll let that kind of, you know, go and do its thing. And in terms of parks, I mean, I could put some plazas in there. And I would almost be tempted to put some plazas in here. So let's just do there. And let's do the same on the other side as well. So measurement would be about there. And that'll kind of attract people to the area a little bit. It'll get them kind of interested in going through the park, which they already are, which is fantastic. But that's gonna help to fill up that space in general, which is exactly what we want. This area over here, I mean, I kind of do want it to be a park. But I feel like it's not really gonna manage to actually be a park. I need some way to enclose it. I need some way to make it look official, you know? So what if we were to do, I mean, these types of walls here, the zoo fence with a little bit of, I don't know, something like this would even maybe do it. This isn't really the side that I had planned on putting the fence on, but I mean, we could do that. It's certainly a look. Then do the same on... Well, actually, I think the best way to do this would be bring this entire fence down to here. And then turn off the guidelines. And if I just go in and say... What guidelines do I even have on right now? Just road guidelines? Can I... So you need to snap to that spot and take out that bit. And then I can bring it over. We need to go here and here and do this. We need to do the same on this bit and take out you. We need the same here and here to take out that section. And then we're good. So what we can do is bring this node down to about there. This guy is going to need tweaked a little bit as well. So it's going to come over to about there. And down to, let me turn off segments here. Bring you down to about that spot and delete. This guy, similar story. Gonna come over to here and down to about there. Again, same here. So bring that. I don't want to select buildings. I want to select you and bring you to there. And on this side, bring you to about there. And we'll just use this as a way to kind of split up these areas a little bit. Because I think that works as a very literal dividing line between the areas, which is kind of what it's supposed to be. You can maybe extend up to about there as well. So that'll be kind of a nice dividing line between this road and whatever goes in here, which, I mean, is also probably going to be some kind of park or something like that. But these need to be, I think, nice plazas, maybe just more parking lots. Maybe these should just be more parking lots, since this is supposed to be an area that's, it's an expo center. You know what I mean? It's gonna have parking lots. It's not really got the room for multi-story, so it's just gonna have to be like that and like that. Or, I mean, we don't want to do these little ones. We could do these guys. They don't really fit, though. These guys do fit if I get rid of the path, which I don't want to do. So, yeah, I guess let's throw one of these guys there. Throw one of these guys there. Put this guy, let's see, there and there. Does that work? I mean, technically, no. Technically, they're very different types of parking lot. Does that mean that I could do a few of these? I absolutely could. So let's do that instead. So we'll just throw a bunch of parking lots into that space. I can detail that little space at the back there. I can detail in here. I can detail the corners. And I think that'll be easier, right? I think it gives the area a bit more purpose. So let's very quickly throw together some kind of fence or wall type thing to put around this. I'm not really sure what type of wall to go for. I'd be tempted by these concrete retaining walls, because I think they're quite modern looking. I don't think they're certainly not terrible looking. I've used them many a time. So if I do something like this, right, bring you over to there. Maybe bring you right up to there. And you right up to kind of in line with it, about there. That might not be... Ooh, this might actually turn out really nicely. So bring you up to about that spot. Bring you up to about, let's say that spot. And yeah, I think we could go ahead and just grab all of this, lower it down a little bit. It's not gonna be... It's not a full-on fence as much as it's just a way to divide up the areas a little bit, and I think that's perfect. So, nice and level. We'll go ahead and copy it. We'll put it over on the other side. And throw it about there. And that's fine by me. So that gives us an area to put some plants and things in there. And I'm not too sure that I want to go ahead and put fences and walls around the entire thing, but I think that bit should definitely have some fences and some walls. This bit, maybe. In fact, honestly, realistically, the whole thing should probably have it. Oh, man. This is going to be a pain in the butt. Okay, this is looking a fair bit better. We've got these little walls kind of outlining the entire area, which I'm really happy about. I've got some nice pencil pines at the back of my parking lots, which I kind of like as well. We have this area over here, which is a little bit weird because this road is actually higher than the lower road. I don't know what you people, what do you, the hell was that? Why? Okay, well, they're walking that way. That's fine. But this, I think, looks kind of decent. I think it certainly makes the area look a little bit more official and a little bit more built up, which I appreciate. I do want to come up with something interesting in terms of trees, though, because I don't want to just throw a bunch of tall trees in here that are going to block the view of the expo center. So I'm actually tempted by... Ooh, those are beautiful. I'm tempted by these guys, or even just these guys, these kind of flowery trees here. So if I was to do a row of those. So that's roughly the middle. Shuffle you to about there. And then space them out a bit. Now we'll use the fence setting and spacing. I mean, I don't need too many of them. I think honestly 3 of them would be kind of perfect. So about there. And I think that's okay. I don't think we need any more than that. I just want the color, you know. I love a bit of color from the trees. I think it just looks really cool. So something kind of like that in those spaces. They're not huge either, so they don't really take away from the building, and that's kind of what's important to me. I think what we'll do is we'll grab 2 of them and just put 2 of them kind of in the middle of this back space here, and do the same over on this side about there. And again, I think that looks kind of cool. It's just kind of official. It's neatly kept. It's some interesting color. It's some interesting trees. I like it. Now, these outer sections are going to be slightly different. I think those are going to have to be a little less neatly kept. Although I am thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and change that road, because I think I want a 6-lane road with a... Hell, you know what? Let's do an 8-lane road just because we can. So let's just pause while I do this. And let's get an 8-lane road in there. Let's turn off good old zoning on that because we don't want it. And yeah, good old 8-lane road right there with absolutely no trees on it. That's kind of what I want. Something very, I don't know, something very brutal. Brutal is the word we'll go for there. You know, just concrete, just stone, and you know, that's what we want. Because then what I can do is put some pencil pines along here and have it look nice, right? That's the idea. So pencil pines will start kind of down in this corner, and we'll go up to this corner here, I guess. And let's see, that looks all right by me. I think the whole thing might need shuffled a little bit, but just to about there. Be a little bit further. Actually, we'll space these out a little more, something like that, and then just shuffle it down to there. How does that look? It needs to go this way a little bit. So something like that. Does that? I mean, that looks okay to me. I think we'll do that. And yeah. So that gives us a nice line of trees just down this massive road. A nice bit of a natural divide there. I kind of like it. It's bringing the area together, and it's almost tempting me to bring more pencil pines over here and over here as well, and just completely surround the area with it. But I'm not going to do that just because I don't want to overdo it with the pencil pines is what I don't want to do. Alrighty, so another change that I have made is I came in here and decided to add a multi-story parking lot because I feel like we need more parking in the entire area. And I know that parking is a little bit of a meme on the channel, but I do feel like it's needed. We have these enormous buildings around here, and we really don't have much surface parking. Now, I do imagine that some of these buildings would have underground parking. They absolutely would, most likely. But I like it to be visible as well. I like to be able to see that there's parking going on, so that's kind of why that exists. And I also just want to double check that all of my district zoning is behaving kind of nicely right now. Because here's something that I may have done. I moved the tunnel. And the tunnel now goes up there. And I'm wondering if the tunnel's getting affected by... Is that something... Oh. That is something I've never considered. Do tunnels get affected by policy? Because it's entirely possible that this tunnel could get affected by the Old Town policy on the industrial park, which would be a terrifying idea. That's a little worrying, but we'll deal with that another time, I guess. Because what I want to do is I want to redo these bus lines, essentially. Because what we have are a few bus lines that may be a little redundant. So I think it's these 2 here. I don't know what lines they are. So So what is that one? I actually genuinely don't know. I think it's City Line 6 and City Line 5. So if we clear out City Line 5 and City Line 6, we still have a line that comes down in here, which is City Line 7. So let's go ahead and clear out City Line 7 as well. I'm pretty sure that's the one that goes over to here. So we can put that back in shortly. We do still have this one. We do still have this pink one that comes in from the town. And what I'm inclined to say is that we should probably figure out a way to stop the buses from going unnecessarily through that district down there. And I'm really surprised that they don't just go up here to U-turn, because if I had to stop there, it still doesn't want to do that. But if I had to stop there, it does. So I don't quite understand why that is the shortest way that they go. That's a little puzzling to me. I just don't quite get it. And I really don't want to add a stop here to make it happen, you know? I think that would be kind of stupid. So I guess we just leave it for now. Now let's go ahead and do a new line that goes from here over into the city. So we'll put this line back in basically. So it goes to there. And then it comes back over. And this line, I think, was relatively popular. I just don't like that it has to go out and do that. That seems ridiculous to me. That just seems absolutely ridiculous to me that the line would need to do this. And wasn't it BA 1414 was the color, yeah. And that would be City Line, I think 5. I don't remember the vehicle type though. I don't know if it was a Citaro K or not. I want to say it was the L concept. We'll just go with that and assume it's the Citaro L concept. So we have that, and again, it's just doing ridiculous things. It almost tempts me to rotate this thing and see if that maybe makes it function better. But I don't know if it would, or move this thing. It's just so ridiculous to me that the buses would loop around the way that they're looping around right now. That is so strange to me. And I don't know if I can fix that. I really don't. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of whatever. I mean, the buses technically, I mean, if I was to do this, if I was to force the buses to go up there, what does that do? It just puts them out in a different lane. That's not quite, that's really not quite what I was expecting to happen there. I've got to be honest. That's, yeah, not quite what I was going for. All right, fair enough. Well, how do I just delete? There we go. Just do that, I suppose. I don't know. I have nothing. I've got nothing. I guess the buses are doing these weird loops. Let's go here. And I guess we could bring a bus out this way. Or not, because it has to go down there anyway, so that's odd. Sure, let's bring a bus through here then. So let's have a bus that goes there. And then let's have that bus come over to here. And let's have that bus go to here. And then we'll have it maybe go up along here somewhere. Or it could go into this neighborhood. That wouldn't hurt. So maybe it does that. Maybe it just goes here. I think there'll be fine. We'll have a bus stop there. We'll have a bus stop up here. And then we'll have it go back to there. So that one, again, is, I think that was City Line number 6. And color is BA 1414. I always remember that because it sounds like a plane. And the type will be the Citaro L concept. And that'll be fine. So that one's going to loop around that area. And then we want another one, which is city line number 7, which we want to come down through here. Now, do I want it to go back there or just go here? I feel like it just going there wouldn't be terrible, but it also completely neglects this entire area down here, which I feel would be a terrible idea. So let's have a bus come in like this, and then it can go back is what it can do. So it can come over here, which I don't like that it loops over itself, but it's, well, maybe it doesn't have to do that actually. Maybe this bus comes down. It can go into here. It can go up to here. I was going to want it to go up into that space, but I guess it's not doing that either. Then it can come down into here. And then maybe up here and sort of back that way. No, it's going to have to loop back in itself regardless. So it's going out onto the roundabout, whatever I do. So I guess that's just the way it's going to be. So just like that, and that's fine. And color, again, BA1414. I need to look up and see if that is, I keep mentioning the flight number thing. I need to look up and see if that is actually a flight number for a British Airways flight out of anywhere. It's gotta be. It's absolutely gotta be. Now, what are you? You are, okay, so you're that bus. Let me have a look here. The Citaro L Concept, what is it? I really should remember. So it's that one, right? So the Citaro L Concept is that one. I feel like the Citaro C is what the ones for this lower area should be. I think it was the bendy one that we had originally, so it was the E Citaro G. Let's do the C for those two more recent lines. So, oh, I wasn't doing the, okay, I've done these slightly wrong. So that gets out of there. That gets out of there. Where is, what the hell's the number 24 line? Oh, it's City Line 7. I guess I didn't save it. City Line 7. Have a look at it. And it was the, I want to say it was the C or was it the K? I think it was the Citaro C was what it was meant to be. So that's City Line 7 done. And then City Line 6, select the types, was also the C instead of the L. And I guess that's fine. We'll kind of just let that do its thing. We got all these passengers kind of running around and moving around and going to their cars, but they're all going back to their stations or their platforms eventually, which is good. So everybody's kind of doing their thing there. And there's a good number of them waiting for taxis as well. Quite a lot of them waiting for taxis, including someone who I think might be... from this angle, it looks like that person stood on someone else's head, but they're actually not. But there's the new buses coming in, so they can do their thing. Those are the Citaro Cs. And we should eventually have some of the larger buses coming in as well, and hopefully servicing the area. So let's have a little look. This one currently has no vehicles. Why do you currently have no vehicles? So the Citaro L Concept. Okay, let's give you the Citaro, or the E Citaro, I guess. And budget control, so it will add its own vehicles there. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see if that gives us, you know, better public transport around this area. We do have a good number of people waiting down here, which is lovely. And, you know, I reckon what we could do is have a bus that goes from here and maybe goes to that spot as well. So it kind of goes up this way. I want a bus that comes up here. I really do. I want a bus that comes up into these areas and actually, you know, services them a little bit. We can have one that kind of comes down here for the industrial space and then goes to there. And then the bus comes in like that. I guess that's fine. We'll pause. We'll set that up as BA1414. And the vehicle type on that, I think, could be the K. So the smaller Citaro is what that could be. I'm probably pronouncing Citaro wrong, honestly, but that's fine. But I reckon that'll be okay. And that'll give us a connection to up here, which we haven't had previously. And it is a pretty big commercial area, so I imagine a bus connection there will be appreciated. And I reckon what I'll actually do is have the bus go into the district rather than stopping on the avenue. Maybe move the stop down to there. And I think that'll be pretty good. Actually, yeah, we'll leave the stop there. That'll be fine. And there's a tree in that building right there for some reason. What we can do, of course, is go in and change the road to have some trees on that side, so the stop's a little bit neater. And then up this way, I kind of want to do the same thing. So change you, grab the bus stop, which is here, put it on that spot. So again, the buses are coming in off of the avenue. They're not going to hold avenue traffic back or anything like that. And I think that'll be pretty good. So hopefully those bus stops are going to be popular. But if they're not, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I just want people. That's all I want in this area is people. And I mean, I have my Skyline, which I'm very happy about. I do want to detail these spaces here. I absolutely do. But it's not the end of the world right now that those aren't done. I think this area in general is better and more interesting looking than it was when we left off in the last episode. I'm kind of happy with, you know, actually having some degree of skyline here. That's the point, and that's what I wanted. So this is good. This is good as far as I'm concerned. So I guess, ladies and gentlemen, we can leave it there for today. Although I do want to detail a bit more of this. I think in the next episode, we might get away from this area just for a little bit and then eventually come back to it, because that's now 2 episodes we've spent on this area, you know, building it once and then building it a second time. So I think next time we could probably look at filling out some of this space with something. I'm not really sure what would go in here. Honestly, probably just housing. We'll try and get the population up a little bit. But we'll put something in there. I do want to look at more highway connections as well, especially since this is just, yeesh, this is a bit rough over here is what it is. But I definitely think, I think more highway connections might be in order. I think a bit more housing might be in order. I think, honestly, finishing the college is probably in order as well. And then probably connecting up these train lines to somewhere too, because we've got a lot of things that are... We've got a lot of cool ideas around this city. We just haven't implemented any of them fully yet. So definitely something to consider and something to keep an eye on. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you so much for watching. It's been my absolute pleasure as always. And as always, have a good one. Bye-bye.